Hello everyone and welcome back to another OPTC Cruise video. We have a ton of new level limit breaks for the oldest Clash characters. So it's very interesting because these characters are so good now that they're better than any recent Pirate King Adventures free-to-play character we've gotten. They just do so much. So we're gonna go through all four of them and see how good their abilities are. They all got exclusive potential abilities, so Final Tap and Super Tandem. So first off, let's take a look at Zepha. So his Final Tap is actually very terrible, alongside one of the other characters we'll talk about. It's just a base attack boost, and it requires you to have a damage reduction on the final stage. Just a very terrible ability, but nevertheless it is there. Now let's take a look at what he does initially. So this is before the level limit break upgrade. He's just a 1.75x shooter attack booster for 2 turns. So obviously very terrible. Back in the day was somewhat usable, but now we have a lot more going for him. Now he is actually one of the worst characters on this list, but he does also have access to the Inter Recruit Iron support, which you do have to consider. It's one of the best supports in the game. It reduces 2 turns of damage reduction, defense up, and threshold when it is procced by the enemy. So when the enemy has any of those, it gets reduced by 2 turns. It's so good. So the fact that this character becomes usable, he's actually probably even more usable than the Zepha legend, which is something. But now let's take a look at his kit. So he is a 1-turn delayer. It doesn't go through, oh wait, no, it does go through immunity. No, it does not. Okay, so the wording is quite odd. It says delays all enemies for 1 turn ignoring. I'm pretty sure it means ignoring immunity to status effects. That's probably going to get fixed, but it does go through immunity, or it should. And then it's going to give you a 3-turn tap timing bonus, which you don't really care about, but I'm pretty sure some characters or some legends work based on how many turns of tap timing bonus you have. So that could be decent, but I'm not sure which characters can actually make use of that. And then if you have an attack boost, you get a 1500 base attack boost for 2 turns, of course, is nice. And you get a 1 turn 60% damage reduction. I wish the damage reduction was 2 turns or 3 turns, because it could be used, you could use his special on stage 4, and then if there is a preemptive death hit on the final stage, then it would still be active, the damage reduction, to reduce that death hit. Unfortunately, 1 turn is not enough. But the 1500 base attack boost is great because it improves his versatility. So if we take a look here at the rest of his kit, if you have 3 or more Neo Marines or Navy characters, now of course the Neo Marines aren't good. I think Burns does have a level limit break, so he's kind of usable. But we do have about 70 Navy tag characters in the game, so of course this isn't too hard to reach. There's a lot of good Navy units, so that's really not too bad. You get a 3x shooter attack boost for 2 turns, which is that's really strong from a free-to-play character from 2015. So he's not only going to do that, but he's also going to give you a damage reduction based attack boost, which is a very rare buff to have in the game, especially from a free-to-play character. So if you have a 90% damage reduction, you get a 1.9x attack boost from that buff. So having both of those buffs, very substantial increase in your damage, and then you also have it for 2 turns, so that's going to be allowing you to have that buff active for revives as well, so that's really great. And then he also is going to reduce his own cooldown by 6 turns. So if you run this guy under the new Kizaru legend from the anniversary, the 11th Annie, then you can use his special to give him another 6 turns of cooldown, meaning you could activate Zepha twice in 1 turn. Or you could, but either way, he's gonna go down to 7 turns of cooldown after his own special, so he can definitely be used multiple times in a quest such as Gob's Challenge or Forest, even in an event like Treasure Map, PKA or Kizuna. This guy could be used on stage 2 and stage 3 if you have enough characters that reduce cooldown. Then he definitely could be used twice, even in a shorter quest. Even if you don't have 3 Navy tag characters, you still get a 2.5x shooter attack boost, but you don't get access to the cooldown or the damage reduction based attack boost. but at least you still get something. So overall, I'd say this guy's pretty good. He does give a delay through immunity, but he doesn't give a conditional attack boost. But either way, that is still really good to actually give the enemy the delay through immunity. It still can help other characters who actually do provide that boost, but they don't give the enemy delay through immunity. The tap timing bonus is whatever. He's very versatile. Even if you don't have 3 Navy tag characters, you get an attack boost of 2.5x. If you have an attack boost already, you get a base attack boost. You get damage reduction, which, as I said, would have been nice if it was more turns. So overall, I'd say this special is really good. It's just probably one of the worst ones of these characters. He's still really good though, and I can see him being used in a lot of content. Of course, his stats aren't going to be too good, but make sure to level him up to level 150. I think you probably need to expand him to get the potential ability, but I don't think he has an expansion as of now, so he might get one. But we'll just have to see. Of course, his captain isn't upgraded. None of these characters get a captain upgrade. So let's move on to the next unit, which is going to be Akainu. So let's see what Akainu has to offer. So Akainu is a strength fighter driven character. Even after the upgrade, he's a centrally strength focused character. Okay, so if we take a look at his initial kit, it's 12 turns of cooldown. So of course it is going to be the same. So 12 turns is really nice. Zepha is 13, so having 12 turns is a lot more standard and usable. Okay, so before, he's just going to be a damage, he's going to deal damage to all the enemies, a full board of strength orbs for strength characters, and then a 1.75x color affinity for those strength units. Once again, he has a terrible final tap. This one requires 2 characters who are a part of the Admirals or GOP. It's just a base attack boosting one, so we don't really care about that. Now, level 150 or level limit break 5, you don't have to level these characters up to 150 to get the abilities, just for any new players who might be watching the video. Okay, so what is he going to do? He's going to give you a 2-turn conditional attack boost against burnt enemies or ignited, whatever you want to call it, of 2.75x for 2 turns. He's also going to apply ignited by himself to the enemy for 2 turns. So of course, this could be used if the enemy has a revive of 10% HP, and then as the enemy revives, they just die to the ignited status. So this is great for that use case, but also of course just increasing the amount of damage you have. And this does go through immunity if you do have more than 3 Navy characters on your crew. So once again, it's a very easy condition. Now, what else does he have to offer? He does give a full board of strength orbs for strength characters. Very disappointed that they didn't change this. It is a very weak orb manipulation. Changing only the orbs of strength characters to strength, not through block, it's just terrible. So literally the legend Akainu, the strength legend version 1 Akainu, his support gives better orb manipulation than that. So that's pretty terrible. But regardless, he does give that very strong conditional attack boost through immunity, so I can't really complain. In addition to that, he will give you a 3x color affinity boost for 2 turns. But then catch this, he gives a 6-turn damage defense up and threshold utility, reducing that of the enemies. So we get a lot of damage and a lot of utility from this character. I think the orb manipulation, if you just ignore that, it's just like a little bit at the end that is going to make him a teeny bit better, but isn't going to be the main part of his kit, because he's still giving a 2-turn conditional attack boost through immunity self-procced. Then he's giving a 3x color affinity for 2 turns, albeit it is to only strength characters, but still that's great. You are only going to be using this guy on a strength team anyways, but then he's also going to give you a amazing utility effect. And once again, the condition is easy. So I'd say overall this guy is a bit better than Zepha. And remember that it does go through not only immunity, but immunity excluding certain status effects. So this is actually kind of important, because one of the characters we'll be talking about later on has the ability to go through immunity, but they don't have the ability to go through immunity excluding certain status effects, and that is very important wording. So overall, this guy I think is a bit better than Zepha. On mono strength teams, this guy is going to be a beast. Now, if you don't have block orbs and you're running a full strength team, that orb manipulation is actually pretty good. So it's just a matter of where you are using him. But on a solely strength team or a team with majority strength characters, he will shine very amazingly. That was an odd sentence, but okay, let's get into the next character, which is Akiji. Okay, so this character is quite interesting. Okay, so Akiji is going to be a in striker free spirit character, and he's our first super tandem guy. Now this one is both of these super tandems, because this character and the next one has super tandem. Both of these are really good. I do think the next character has a bit of a better one, but this guy has still a really strong one. Now his multiplier is 2.25x, and since he's a free-to-play character, he's gonna be at level 5. So having a 2.25x tandem attack boost from a free-to-play character is just amazing. But of course we have to look at the conditions. So you need 2 characters who fit into the category of being a Navy Admiral or Sengoku or Garp. So it is it's a teeny bit difficult compared to the next one I'll be talking about, but it's not too bad. There's a lot of good Garps nowadays. Of course, there's the new Borsalino Kizaru. He also has some free-to-play characters. Akainu, I mean, he has some characters. Of course, the all of his legends. But overall, mainly Garp and Kizaru, I'd say. Sengoku, yes, Sengoku could be used. The Sai legend Sengoku, the one that gives one character a 4x attack and all boost, that Sengoku is really good, and I think he could be used with this guy. They could synergize incredibly. Okay, so initially his special is 15 turns, so that is going to carry over, unfortunately. Very high cooldown. He freezes crew slots in place instead of yeah, the old one, because crew's wording is really cool. Unfortunately, they changed it just to a 2-turn ore block, as you'll see in a moment, and then a very weak attack boost for 2 turns. Okay, so no more freezing slots. He's now a 2-turn crew orb locker. So that's great. Some improvement there. Instead of 1 turn, it's 2 turns, and then a full board of tandem orbs through block for your entire crew. This is how you do orb manipulation. This is really good. That is a very prominent part of his special ability. So very similar special to the Zepha we talked about at the start. So he's going to give you a chain boost if you have an attack boost already active. So once again, versatility. He's also going to give you a 40% of maximum HP heal after that. So not only are you getting a damage buff, but also healing if you do have an attack boost. So a lot of versatility. Same condition, 3 or more Navy tagged characters. You get a 3x striker attack boost for 2 turns, a 6-turn special bind, and a 1.75x increased damage taken for 2 turns through immunity, but not immunity excluding certain status effects. Now I hope it's a typo, but that definitely does decrease his usability, because the immunity excluding certain status effects has become a lot more common. So not being able to go through that does decrease his usability. But regardless, he is a 3x attack booster for 2 turns, a increased damage taken through irregular immunity, and he's also going to reduce special bind by 6 turns. Now it is only 1 debuff he's getting around, and of course he does get the crewmate ability to negate special bind, but we still have to consider the fact that he is only reducing or that he's giving you a heal, which is definitely going to help you against death hits or any HP reducing debuffs. So there is a bit of utility in that aspect. Overall, I think this character is really good. If he does go through immunity excluding certain status effects, and this is just a typo, then he's definitely really good. But either way, he's giving you so much damage, a full board of matching orbs, and not only are they matching, they are tandem. Oh, okay, but that is quite weird. He does not have a crewmate ability to make tandem counters matching. Now, I'll give it to him. Many ships nowadays do actually make tandem counters matching, or a lot of other captains. Most captains nowadays make tandem counters matching. So even though he doesn't make it matching, which is very odd, that's still really good. So very strong orb manipulation, chain boost, and healing as a alternative ability if you do already have an attack boost. Otherwise, you still get a 3x attack boost, a 1.75x increased damage taken, and of course the special bind reduction. So you do need to have 3 or more navy characters, otherwise his special is pretty buns, can't lie, but this is still really good if you do have those characters. So overall, I'd say Akiji. I do think the next character is a teeny bit better. Honestly, if I had to say, Akainu is probably the strongest kit, besides the fact that it's for only strength characters, because that reduction of enemy defensive effects alongside all the other buffs, the color affinity, the self-proc conditional attack boost that goes through both types of immunity, is just a really good kit. But Akiji is still really good in his own right. Okay, let's get to the final character, Fujitora. Okay, so Fujitora is a Psi Power Slasher character. Let's first go through his super tandem. So, firstly, his cooldown is actually a lot lower than the last character, Akiji. He's 13 turns. Still wish it was 12, but we can take a look at that in a moment, what he does. Okay, so now his tandem is a lot better in my opinion, because it works for powerhouse and slasher characters, so a lot more units than the Akiji. Akiji only applied to navy tagged characters, which has about 72 characters. Powerhouse and slasher probably has hundreds. No, definitely has hundreds of characters that could be used. But not only that, the condition is so much easier, because in addition to the characters that Akiji had on his condition, you also have Luffy and Zoro, which is just, that is so much easier to proc now, and it applies to so much more characters. The fact that it's a teeny bit weaker than Aokiji's is completely fine. This is going to be so much more usable. But what does his special do? If he has a bad special, we aren't going to run him anyways, right? So let's take a look at what he does. He reduces damage reduction, threshold, and defense up by 3 turns. Very weak, but at the end of the day, of the characters that reduce enemy defensive effects, like almost all of them, he's not too bad. A lot of these characters reduce those debuffs or those enemy buffs by only 1 turn. 3 turns is still really bad. I don't know what I'm yapping about. I'm not gonna try and cover him up. This is quite a weak ability. He also reduces all enemies HP by 8%, ignoring defensive effects. So I mean, as you can see there, I do say that he might be able to get around resilience with that effect. But really, that's just not really usable. Then he changes his own orb to tandem, not through block, but then he changes the adjacent orbs to their own type through block. I don't know why his own orb isn't through block. A bit odd there, but it's still much better than Akainu's orb manipulation, I'd say. Since it is through block, and you also get the tandem orb you need for his super tandem. But really, that should be through block, that tandem orb. So very strange orb manipulation, very weak utility, and a very mid health cut. But let's see if his special can be redeemed. If you have an orb boost, so once again the versatility aspect, you get a 250 base attack boost to all characters, and then it will be 1250 for powerhouse and slashy units. So that's pretty decent, I guess. And then if you don't have that orb boost, then you also get if you don't have that orb boost when you use the special, you get a 2.5x for 2 turns for powerhouse and slasher. So that's pretty good. A bit weaker than the other characters who are 3x, but I can see why, because if you take a look at the rest of his special, so if you have 3 or more navy tag characters, you apply target status to enemies. What? This is the first free-to-play character to do this. I remember set target status just gives you a free 1.75x damage for slasher and powerhouse, and then it is also going to go through immunity. So it just ignores immunity. This is just a free 1.75x damage. Very helpful in Kizuna. This character is going to buff free-to-play teams immensely. The damage output that you can get with just that extra 1.75x is quite considerable. So reaching that 1 trillion is going to be a lot easier for free-to-play teams. I don't think we actually can get there yet with free-to-play characters, but we are getting closer with this kind of a character. This is definitely the first free-to-play character to give the enemy a target. But I mean, that's really cool. And of course, whoever, if there's a character who kills the enemy with a target status, they get cooldown. But usually you put it on the final boss anyway, so that doesn't really matter. And then he reduces his own cooldown by 7 turns, going down to 6. So you could use the new Kizaru, and he will reduce the remaining 6 turns, and you can use his special twice in the same turn, giving you a 6-turn reduction of those enemy buffs, an orb boost, a base attack boost, matching orbs, and target status. Okay, this character, I think this is the best one. In the case that you use the new Kizaru to reduce his cooldown and use his special twice in the same turn. Otherwise, his utility is quite weak, but regardless, like the amount of damage this character is giving you alongside the amount of utility he's giving you, and then the orb manipulation, I think this character is the best one. And also the best super tandem. This one is, even on regular teams, not even just free play teams, this is just a great super tandem effect to have. Yeah, I'd say Fujitora is the best one, just overall. Thank you guys for watching. I'd say, let me first rank these guys on how good I think they are. Okay, so Fujitora is on top for sure. I'd say Akiji's next. No, not Akiji. Akainu. Akainu has really strong special, even though it's mainly for strength characters only. Then I'd say Zepha, just because of how he has the access to the int iron support. That really does help so much. And then I'd say Akiji, because the thing with Akiji is I don't think he goes through the immunity excluding certain status effects that really does bring him down, even though it might seem quite insignificant. So I'd say that's the order. We have Fujitora at number 1, number 2 is Akainu, number 3 is Zepha, and then number 4 is Akiji. Sorry, Akiji. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me which one is your favorite down below. Sorry about the long video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, and I'm out.